So I had a subscriber recently ask me a question, and they asked me, what about having a job while you're homeless? I wasn't sure, and I don't exactly remember if they were asking, what to do, what it's like, and so on and so forth. There's been a couple of places where I've had a job while homeless. This doesn't really count as a job while homeless, but I have had a couple of places. One was in San Francisco, another one was in Eugene, and I can't remember, there was one other place where I actually had a job while homeless. So what is it like? What do you do? What are some tips? If you're in this situation, or if you're figuring out, it's like, okay, I'm homeless for the first time, I'm going to go get a job, but how do I get a job while I'm homeless? Well, first of all, let's talk about getting the job, okay? Because that's the most important part, right? There's no point in talking about having a job while homeless if we don't talk about actually how you get the job. Now, both times in San Francisco and in Eugene, I always went for the low-hanging fruit. In San Francisco, they have a motto: you got to have a job to get a job. Okay, so what I did is I went down to the local call center because that's usually one of the easiest places to get a job, especially if you have skill set in customer service and customer relations, sales, things like that. Okay, but also they have such a high turnover that they'll at least give everybody one chance, sometimes two or three, and then after that, if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Okay, but so you go down there and you go down to a call center. Also, when I was in Eugene, I went to a call center that was doing surveys. In San Francisco, I was doing telemarketing. Okay, I sucked at it, and it absolutely was horrible. But because of me getting that job, when I went to go look for my step up, because in San Francisco, you got to have a job to get a job, I was able to get my first job in the IT field. I went from that to my federal work study to getting my first job in my career field, which was at the time I was studying network security, but the job I got was network administration, so I changed my curriculum to the administration side, and that's kind of how I got into network administration. Whereas in Eugene, I needed a job because I wanted to. I was facing legal issues, and part of the requirements was that I got a job, got stable, got up on my feet, so on and so forth. And this was about the time that I was starting my business. It's a long story about my business and kind of how it came. It was puttering to begin with. But once you get that job, once you find the low-hanging fruit, now what do you do next? You have certain needs that you need to have met, because they're not going to like it if you show up to work stinking, if you show up to work wearing dirty clothes. Some places or some people are worried about how people feel about you bringing your book bag or bringing your bag with you, so on and so forth. So there are a few things. Now in Eugene, I slept outside. In San Francisco, I slept inside. So let's talk about sleeping inside first. In San Francisco, you show up, they give you a 90-day bed, great. So I had a place to be able to get a shower, had a place to stay inside. I was able to wash my clothes and keep clean and things like that. Nobody really knew that I was homeless unless I wanted them to know that I was homeless, because of the way that the system was set up in San Francisco. Was that if you really wanted to get up on your feet, they had the services there for you. But a lot of people just would take advantage of it just to, get their freebies, because they really had no want or need. Okay, now in Eugene, I don't even remember how I was able to get my showers. I think that there was a shelter that I went to, or something along those lines, to be able to get my shower. Plus, if you need to, you go into the bathroom, you take a bird bath. You should do it at least every other day. If you are panhandling on your off time, so that you can cover your laundry costs, or maybe even cover costs for food and things like that, that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that if you're in this situation, you're going to have to worry about food, because you're going to work, you're working 8 hours, you don't have the ability to go out there to panhandle or to go to the food lines or anything like that to be able to get food. And that actually is probably one of the scariest parts of getting a job while homeless, is that is that, making sure that you have those resources. Now in San Francisco, because food stamps would go really quick, I had somebody that I worked out a deal with, one of the local hobos, that would bring me lunch from the food lines, and I would meet him, and he would give me lunch for the next day, because a lot of it was cold and or stuff that I could carry over for a day or so, and so it wouldn't go bad. And so luckily I had someone there that was helping me out. And funny thing is, the guy was crackhead too. Well, he actually wasn't a crackhead. He liked crack, but he was actually a sex addict, which is what I found out later on. And he just liked when he got off, he liked the rush that he got when he took a hit off the crack pipe. That was why I thought he was a crackhead to begin with. Okay. Same thing in Eugene. I did the same thing. You've seen some pictures if you've been over on Patreon of my trip to Eugene. Abner and Zero made sure that I had food and everything that I needed, and when I got paid, I compensated them. I took care of them, because you're gonna have to do that for a minute. Okay, those that are going to be there to help you. A homeless person isn't going to waste their energy, their time, or anything else like that unless they're getting something in return, because every moment has to be something where you're gathering resources or being productive in some way, shape, or fashion to be able to support whatever it is that you're doing. Some of them a drug habit, some of them an alcohol habit, some of them a sex habit, some of them just whatever. Okay, just being able to go to McDonald's and have their breakfast every morning, and so therefore they make sure that they gather up $5 or $10 so that they can have breakfast in the morning. So you need to be able to compensate them, but also in a lot of ways they're going to do it for you a lot cheaper. So if you're saying, okay, when I get paid, if you give me a receipt of how much that you're spending on your food stamps, I'll give you 50 cents on the dollar. That way they know that they'll get it, and they know that they're doing a good thing, because for some people they worry about their karma. They want good things to come back to them, so they do good things within the community, so that they can ensure their own survival. Some of it is superstition, but there is also some fact to that. Okay, so getting a shower, getting your food, and making sure to keep your laundry going. Those are some of the most important things that you can do. Now, if you're going to be somebody that gets a job, that means that you're going to be a home bum. So before you even start looking for a job, make sure that you can find somebody that you can trust to leave your bag with for the day. I had Abner and Zero. In Eugene. In San Francisco, I had a locker. You could also go to a Greyhound bus station. Well, it used to be you could go to the Greyhound bus station and buy, spend a dollar or two for a locker, and then stick your bag in there, and then come back at the end of the day, undo it. And that was a cheap way to be able to store your stuff while you went to work. But you do need to find some sort of storage, because a lot of times they're going to look at you a little funny when you come in with a bag. Now, depending upon what region you're in, and the culture of the region. I think here in the South, on one hand, well, there's a lot of people that will discriminate against you because you're homeless, but if they see that you're homeless and you got a job, that discrimination goes away a lot, because they're like, okay, this person's doing the right thing. They're not like the rest of these losers out here, so let me go out here and at least help. And so you will get help from those that you work with, but you got to be careful who you talk to about it, because some people, they're stuck on stupid. We'll just say that. Okay, so if you ever get yourself in the situation where you're homeless and you're like, hey, I want to be able to get a job. How do I get a job, and how do I maintain myself? There is some groundwork that you need to do before you actually go out there and start looking for work. Now, again, when it comes to looking for a job, you want to go for low-hanging fruit. What is your skill set? Within your skill set, if you're a general labor, you're looking at something like going to day labor or going to call centers if you're into customer service, getting into sales. If you're personal and you go into customer service, there's a lot of different things, but you know what your skill set is, and you know what the low hanging fruit is, whether it be a carpenter's helper, all the way up to a full on electrician that you get your own truck, and so therefore you sleep in the truck and hope that the boss doesn't find out. And if he does, he's gonna have respect for you, because any business owner that's worth their salt, especially a small business owner or a manager, they're going to look at it and actually be accommodating, because when people see that you're trying to do something for yourself, they are more apt to help you than if you're just standing around with your hand out going, I don't want to do anything, please help me. Okay, so hence the reason why I've gotten into the digital economy and started my own content creation, because I think that I could teach you guys how to be able to not only survive homelessness, but to thrive during homelessness, and also keep yourself secure, so on and so forth. And if you're a prepper, this is a reflection of what your SHTF will look like, at least within reason. I mean, society hasn't fully fallen apart, but at least my world has. So, if you're thinking about becoming a subscriber, become a subscriber. Come on over to Patreon, where I do hobo tutorials behind the scenes, and we're starting to work on getting a live stream going for my subscribers over there on Patreon. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.